How's it going, guys? It's Red, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys a super powerful high difficulty sniper setup that you guys can be using right now in Back 4 Blood. But before we get into that, if you're new here to the channel, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more awesome Back 4 Blood content just like this. Also, make sure to check out the link to my Discord server. It's going to be down in the description below. You guys can use it to find teammates to play Back 4 Blood with, so if you guys are in some dire need of teammates, make sure to come check out the Discord server. And without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright, so here we are in the deck building menu in Back 4 Blood. This is going to be the complete deck list, so if you guys are just looking to copy and paste the deck, now is your time to do so. But for the remainder of this video, I'm just going to be talking about what role every card plays in the deck and just everything like that. Now, like, the general game plan that you're going to want to be doing while you're playing this deck is you are going to be using your pistol whenever you see common, and then whenever a special infected jumps out at you and your team, you pull out your sniper because we're going to have a lot of weapon swap speed cards, and you're just going to shoot one shot at him. He's going to die because we're going to have a lot of weak spot damage cards too, and that's just what snipers are really good at. So this deck really is a mix between of like a pistol build and a sniper build, because you are going to be using your pistol a lot in this deck, and the only time you're not going to be using your pistol is when you see special infected. And the first category we're going to have in the deck is going to be weak spot damage, and the first card in that is going to be hyper focused, which is going to give us plus 50% weak spot damage and minus 40% move speed while shooting or melee attacking. Now up next, we actually have a card that helps balance hyper focused, which is going to be Hellfire, which is going to give us plus 45% move speed while we're firing and plus 3% move speed while we're not firing. This card doesn't have anything to do with weak spot damage, but it is in here simply just to counteract the downside of hyper focused, because hyper focused is just a really strong effect. Like, getting 50% weak spot damage out of a single card is really strong. That's why they put such a deep downside on it. And you know, when you have a card like Hellfire, like, granted, it's kind of like hyper focus is taking up 2 card slots, but I mean, it's still good enough. Up next, we have Reckless Strategy, which is going to give us plus 30% weak spot damage and minus 5% damage resistance as the downside. And to round off this category, we're going to have Ridden Slayer, which is just going to give us plus 20% weak spot damage. Now, the reason I chose to play, you know, like these cards specifically instead of playing cards like Knowledge is Power or Frontside Focus is because, like, this deck has to have like a lot of things going on like at the same time. Like, you know, in a deck that I would play something like Knowledge is Power or Frontside Focus, that's a deck where like weak spot damage is like super prevalent, and you need to have a lot of it. Now, in terms of sniper rifles, that's not necessarily the case. Once you hit like 100% weak spot damage, you're basically gonna kill everything that you hit in the weak spot except for like the biggest, tankiest units in the game. And I mean, there's just so many other things that we have to worry about going on. We have to worry about our base damage, we have to worry about our reload speed, our aim speed, our weapon swap speed, and that's just, you know, a lot of different things we're gonna have to worry about. And I feel like we just don't have the space to put in all the extra weak spot cards, because I do feel like weak spot damage was like one of the categories in this deck that we could easily like trim the fat from and, you know, just get it to what we need, and that's it. And moving on to the next category, which is just going to be base damage, and to start this category off, we're going to have Patient Hunter, which is every 0.75 seconds we aim down sights, it increases our bullet damage by 10% up to 3 stacks. Up next, we have Silver Bullets, which is going to give us plus 10% bullet damage and plus 15% effective bullet range. Up next, we have Large Caliber Rounds, which is going to give us plus 7.5% bullet damage and plus 200% bullet penetration. And to round off this category, we're going to have Line 'em Up, which is going to give us plus 10% effective bullet range, 15% recoil control, and 25% bullet penetration and aim speed. Now, as far as like the reasoning behind my card choice, these are just like the 4 best damage cards in the game. Like, the only damage card in the game that's like really good right now that I'm not playing is Shredder. And I mean, obviously we're playing like a single shot sniper deck, so Shredder isn't going to be too good here, but I could definitely see a world where like you would want to tech it into this deck just because of the fact that we're going to be using our pistol so much. And I mean, especially if you compare this with something like a Tech 9, I could definitely see how, like, you know, this card could get like a little out of hand, or like a Glock full auto, or even like a Burst Beretta, something like that. I mean, but you know, for my personal preference, I chose not to play it. And like, I just don't feel like you could like trade any of these damage cards out, like just do a clean 1-for-1 swap and get more value if you were to choose like any other damage card like in the entire game. And honestly, I don't even think we need to like deal more base damage than like what we're dealing right now, because I mean, if we were to play a card like Glass Cannon, I don't know, that just seems like way too much, because like we're just gonna one tap everything that we hit in the weak spot with our sniper rifles anyway, and we're pretty much just gonna one tap all the common if we hit them in like the head, and if not, we just gotta shoot them twice depending on the pistol. Like, it's not worth, you know, all the detriment that you're gonna cause to yourself just by bringing in the extra damage. And moving on to the next category, which is going to be reload speed, and to start it off, off, we're going to have Wide Mouth Magwell, which is going to give us plus 30% reload speed and minus 5% damage resistance as the downside. Up next, we got Reload Drills, which is going to give us plus 20% reload speed. Next, we got Ammo Belt, which is going to give us plus 50% ammo capacity and plus 15% reload speed. And to round this category off, we're going to have Cold Brew Coffee, which is going to give us plus 15% reload speed, plus 25% aim speed, and plus 25% weapon swap speed and use speed. Now, for my reasonings as far as card choice, like, the only good reload card, like, in the game that we're not playing right now is Mag Coupler. And obviously, we can't play Mag Coupler because we're not going to disable our ADS, especially in a deck that plays cards like Patient Hunter. It's just not what we're trying to be. And, I mean, outside of Mag Coupler and the 4 reload cards that we're playing, unfortunately, there's just not very many good reload speed cards in the game. But, I mean, we still get a collective 80% reload speed with this build, and I do feel like that's more than enough for a sniper build. I think the only decks that really truly need 100% plus reload speed is, like, shotguns. And, I mean, just because we're not, you know, playing 100% reload speed doesn't mean we're not accruing other value outside, you know, from our reload speed category too, because we're still playing Ammo Belt, which is giving us, you know, 50% ammo capacity, and we got Cold Brew Coffee, which is giving us a whole just tray of effects outside of reload speed. And the last 3 cards of the deck don't really have a certain category. They're just good value cards that really help bring the whole deck together. And to start this category off, we're going to have Shooting Gloves, which is going to give us plus 25% weapon swap speed, plus 15% recoil control, and plus 15% accuracy. Up next, we got High Vis Sights, which is going to give us plus 30% aim speed. And the last card in the deck we're going to play is going to be Ammo Stash, which says our secondary weapons have unlimited ammo, but our secondary weapons are going to reload 20% slower as the downside. Now, the reason that you want to play all of these cards is because Shooting Gloves gives you that extra weapon swap speed that you need, and you don't want to play a big effect like Guns Out or Cocky, because we have other cards in the deck like Cold Brew Coffee that just, you know, give us incremental amounts of weapon swap speed, and we have other cards in the deck that are going to do that too, and it just makes it so we don't have to play a card, you know, like, we don't have to play these because these are going to give us downsides. And this card not only doesn't give me a downside, but it gives me other values outside of that too. Now, you're going to want to play High Vis Sights in this deck because snipers, you know, at base speed don't really have the fastest aim speed, especially the bigger and badder snipers. They take, you know, like a full second or like a full second and a half to, like, aim. And I mean, when you have, you know, situations where you got multiple special infected coming at you and you got like 90 commons coming at you, like, that just feels really bad, and that feels like really unplayable, even if you are one-tapping everything in your path. So, I mean, aim speed for snipers is something that you definitely have to address, and you definitely have to, like, you know, make slots in your deck to fix that for the deck. And you're going to want to play Ammo Stash because it's just going to make your life a whole lot easier because you do use your secondary a lot, and just never having to worry about running out of your ammo in your secondary at least made me really, really like this card. I mean, if you don't think that's a problem, you can feel free to, you know, play something else that's a little bit more synergistic with the deck, or, you know, gives you more damage, or whatever, you know, you think the deck needs. But I think Ammo Stash was a really solid addition into this deck. Well, that's going to do it for the video, guys. Make sure to leave a comment down below telling me any deck changes that you guys would make, and as always, if you happen to enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more awesome Back 4 Blood content just like this. Also, make sure to check out the link to my Discord server. It's going to be down in the description below. You guys can use it to find teammates to play Back 4 Blood with, so if you guys are in some dire need of teammates, make sure to come check out the Discord server. And until next time, it's been Red, and I'll see you guys in the next video.